The night was still, too still. A chill wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and something else, something ancient and unknown. It sent shivers down my spine, a primal fear that settled deep in my gut. This wasn't just a night for telling stories. This was a night for facing the darkness that lurked within them. We gathered around the flickering light of the campfire, its flames casting dancing shadows that seemed to writhe and contort with a life of their own. The stories we shared weren't the kind you'd find in books. These were whispers passed down through generations, tales that clung to the very fabric of our town, a chilling reminder that some things are best left undisturbed. But tonight we dared to speak their names. We dared to breathe life into the nightmares that haunted our waking hours. As the fire crackled and hissed, I felt a knot of dread tighten in my chest, a sense of foreboding that told me we were treading on dangerous ground. Tonight, we danced with the devil in the pale moonlight. The old dirt road stretched out before us, disappearing into the dense woods that bordered our town. It was a place of whispers and shadows, a place where even the bravest souls hesitated to tread after dark. But for Emily Carter, it was the only way home. Emily was last seen walking down that desolate road, her laughter echoing through the trees as she bid farewell to her friends. Then silence. The search parties found no trace of her, no sign of a struggle, no indication of where she might have gone. It was as if she had simply vanished into thin air. Days turned into weeks, and the hope that had once burned brightly in the hearts of the townspeople began to dwindle. The whispers started then, whispers of something sinister lurking in the woods, something that preyed on the unsuspecting. Years have passed, but Emily's disappearance remains a haunting mystery, a chilling reminder that some secrets are best left buried. And on moonless nights, when the wind whispers through the trees, some swear they can still hear Emily's laughter echoing in the distance, a haunting melody that sends chills down their spines. The old Victorian house stood at the end of a long, winding driveway, its once grand facade now shrouded in a veil of dust and decay. It had stood empty for years, a silent sentinel to a forgotten era. Locals whispered tales of its troubled past, of a family torn apart by tragedy and a darkness that lingered long after the last resident had breathed their last. One night, a group of teenagers, emboldened by youthful bravado and a thirst for the unknown, decided to explore the abandoned house. They crept through the overgrown yard, their hearts pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. As they stepped inside, a cold, musty air washed over them, sending shivers down their spines. The air grew heavy, charged with an unseen energy that made the hairs on the back of their necks stand on end. They heard it then, a soft guttural growl emanating from the shadows at the top of the stairs. Frozen in terror, they watched as a dark figure slowly descended the staircase, its eyes glowing with an eerie, malevolent light. Panicked, the teenagers fled the house, their screams echoing through the empty halls. They never spoke of what they had seen that night, but the memory of that chilling encounter continued to haunt their dreams, a stark reminder that some doors are best left unopened. Section 4. Whispers from the Attic. The old grandfather clock chimed midnight, its deep, resonant tones breaking the silence of the old house. Sarah lay awake in bed, her heart pounding in her chest. She'd been hearing strange noises coming from the attic for weeks now, soft footsteps, muffled voices, and the occasional blood-curdling scream. She had tried to rationalize the sounds, telling herself it was just the old house settling, or the wind whistling through the eaves. But deep down she knew there was something more sinister at play. One night, unable to shake the feeling of dread that washed over her, Sarah decided to investigate. Armed with nothing but a flickering candle, she slowly made her way up to the attic door. The air grew colder as she approached, and the musty scent of decay filled her nostrils. With trembling hands, she reached for the doorknob, her heart pounding in her ears. As she pushed open the door, a cold gust of wind extinguished her candle, plunging her into darkness. Panic surged through her as she heard a voice whisper her name close to her ear. The voice was cold and raspy, filled with an ancient malice that sent chills down her spine. Section 5. The Bridge to Nowhere. The old covered bridge stretched across the narrow creek, its wooden planks rotting and decayed. It was a place steeped in local lore, whispered to be haunted by the spirits of those who had met their untimely demise within its shadows. Legend had it that if you stood on the bridge at midnight and called out the name of the one you loved most, their spirit would rise from the depths and join you for a fleeting moment. One foggy night, a young couple, eager to test the legend and fueled by a potent cocktail of young love and youthful bravado, drove out to the bridge. They parked their car on the side of the road and made their way towards the bridge, their laughter echoing through the stillness of the night. As they reached the centre of the bridge, the air grew heavy and a sense of foreboding washed over them. The young man, determined to see the legend through, called out his girlfriend's name, his voice echoing through the emptiness. A moment of silence stretched out, broken only by the sound of their own breathing and the distant hooting of an owl. Just when they were about to turn and leave, they heard it, a soft, mournful sigh coming from the darkness beneath the bridge. Terror gripped their hearts as they realized they were not alone. They turned to flee, but as they did so, a cold, unseen hand reached out from the darkness and pulled the young woman over the railing, her screams echoing through the night as she disappeared into the murky depths below. Section 6. A Legacy of Fear. The fire crackled and popped, casting dancing shadows on the faces of those gathered around it. The stories we shared that night were more than just tales of horror. They were a testament to the darkness that lurked at the edges of our reality, a darkness that whispered to us in our dreams and haunted our waking hours. We may try to rationalize the unexplainable, to dismiss the shadows as figments of our imagination. But deep down, we know that there are some things in this world that defy logic and reason. There are forces at play beyond our comprehension, forces that can chill us to our very core and leave us questioning everything we thought we knew. As the flames died down and the embers glowed red in the darkness, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, that the very air around us was thick with unseen eyes. The stories we had shared had awakened something primal within us, a fear that lingered long after the last ember had faded away. We had opened a door that night, a door to a realm of terror that we could never fully close. And as I made my way home through the deserted streets, the echoes of those chilling tales followed me, a constant reminder that sometimes the scariest monsters